Hello vlog peeps. Oh look, this is nice. Got a nice high quality setup for this video, for the videos that almost no one watches. But it's okay, I like our little quiet channel because we don't have all the weird pressures of the usual recording process. Let me put this down. Aha, there we go. Yeah, like a little behind the scenes. I just finished recording the new video, the art breakdown one. I think it went okay. I don't know, I have to wait and see. It's very hard, kind of visualize and you say things over and over and over again. You don't know how they're going to look in the final edit, but again, everything gets better in the edit. But the lighting's always been a bit weird here. It's all a bit too blown out. It's a bit hard to balance in this room. Again, that's why I need the studio space when we finally get it, because I'll be able to have exquisite control over the lighting. So yeah. But we'll have to wait and see. When I do these recordings, thank God I got a long cable, the XLR one, for this microphone. Again, this is big enough for like a huge studio. It's like everything is prepared for a large studio. I just don't have the space to use it all. I've got the tripod set up with the Canon G7X Mark II here, but for the battery for that, I have a adapter, so it goes straight through the main, so I don't need to worry about batteries and stuff. But if I was moving around, I have one battery for that camera anyway. The only reason I don't use this camera for like the main recordings for like, regular breakdown videos and stuff is because I don't like moving files. That's why I use the Logitech StreamCam instead. But if you want to use these 60 frames a second, you need a USB Type-C, which I don't actually have on this computer, believe it or not. Or I do have a port for it on the case, but it's not plugged into anything, so I'll need to check the motherboard for that. And you can see that I'm repping the merch, but this didn't really get displayed in the footage anyway, because, it's very boxed down. But I feel like I need to wear this symbolically to say, yeah, this is the official Curtis Holt content. But yeah, now I need to clean everything up. But when I do these face recordings, these stand-up ones, the room becomes a mess because I'm like, I don't care. It doesn't need to be organized. What's important now is the recording. When we get that done, then we can clean everything up. You can deal with the fallout afterwards. All right, well, hold on. I didn't say the day. What's the day? It's the 28th of September. The time is 13:02, so 1:02. So yeah, time to get on with the day. I've got to take the dog for a walk as well. And then I've got a collection of other tasks I need to do, some more kind of admin types. But I'll probably put these files into a Premiere project and start kind of syncing up the audio, cropping everything down, doing the keying for the green screen. Why the green screen for this video? Well, I just felt like being slightly more ambitious with it this time, because an art breakdown can get quite boring. So again, for the entertainment value, maybe just having my body, my face cut out, and then kind of just throwing it around the screen might be a bit more entertaining. So time to go from a high intensity workload to low intensity workload. Au revoir. See you later. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm taking the Keeper artwork and I'm just packaging it up for the Gumroad. Obviously there's some things I can't put inside of it because there was like, third-party assets and stuff from the paid packages, like other packages. So for example, the Modular Metals Mega Shader was in the original artwork, but because that includes so much of the Modular Metals package in like one material, I didn't really want to include that in this. And the Botanic assets at the back, I obviously can't repackage. So I've just adjusted it. I created a new material for the character and replaced the background with some nice geometry. So I'll probably render this frame out. I've made it 16:9, so it'll fit better on the admin artwork. And then I'll put that up and that can be added to my website store page as well. So that will probably appear down here as like a $5 package. All right, so where are we at now? Well, over the last few days, I've been kind of going back and forth on different projects and updates and stuff. So I started off by going back to my human character and kind of doing updates to him. And I recorded a lot of the process as well. Basically trying to make his musculature a bit more realistic. I did a little bit of an anatomical study. I'm not too good at it, but I just thought it was a little bit of fun. Also getting back to the sculpting system in 3D Code is quite nice. So I'm intending on putting that into my rigged base characters pack because I rigged up a new model for it. Let me see, do I have that on video here? I don't have the rigging process on video, but one thing I've also done is taken the new model and made some template kind of like armor strap pieces around the body. So if I want to do like character artworks and armor models in the future, then that's going to be easier to do. I'm still kind of working on that. I'll probably include that in the package as well when that's ready. As for the next video, the current plan is to do one about tips for building a nice portfolio, but doing it in a very like kind of nice and chill way, and maybe seeing if we can, still make it a bit funny. The thing about portfolio videos is that a lot of people have done them in the past. However, like I don't really enjoy the mood of them, which might be a bit weird to say. Like it's all very like, aha, we are professionals and this is what you need to do to have a good portfolio, and yes, if you don't do this then you're not very good. And it's all very like kind of, I don't have a good word for it. It's not condescending. That's not what it is. It's all just very, we know the way and this is how you should do it. And I never really vibed with that. So of course I'll be my regular self where it's like, hey, everyone has a different reason for having a portfolio. You know, here's some things that you might like to try if you want to feel better about it. So yeah, it's kind of been pushing me back actually on like actually starting to make the video, because I'm like, I don't really know if I can visualize the mood right. Might sound a bit weird, but hey ho. Also, my vestibular issues are playing up again. Maybe I should probably see a doctor about this because it's happened a few times this year. Benign paroxysmal positional vertigo, is that what it's called? So like if I turn my head to the side, things go a bit weird to start with, but then they reset. And it was always the left side throughout the year, but now all of a sudden it's the right side. So I'll be doing these Epley maneuvers to try and fix it, but I don't know, we'll have to see. Thankfully it's not bad enough yet where I can't still use the computer. I feel like something is changing or about to change with the channel. This part of 2021 has been very interesting. It feels like every week there's been a different revelation of some kind that's adjusted my worldview in some way. And like that's not too dissimilar from what I've experienced in the past if you want to get a little bit psychological. One thing I have noticed is that I think my mind is probably the same for like every human being, but tends to work on visual phases almost. Like at any moment when I'm not thinking about something actively, my mind always resets to a visual of something that happened semi-recently. I tend to notice that though my feelings change until the next phase, they tend to stay relatively uniform while a phase is going on. So for example, like I remember in 2019 when I went to the London Blender Day and I was feeling particularly anxious for a while, there was a point in the day where I looked to the left and there was a brick wall. I think there was a clock or something, and for some reason that imprint, that image of that brick wall stayed with me for like weeks. So whenever I was just kind of daydreaming and like thinking about nothing, that image would just randomly pop up, and it can be anything. Because I remember like another time further on, I was playing a video game with someone, I was chatting, we were running somewhere together, and like I crossed over a road, and then in the video game, like just an image of the road with like the trees and stuff past it, that stuck in my mind. Then like the next like a month or so, whenever I was just sitting doing nothing, that image would randomly pop up. It's like there's always like a default image that pops up when nothing else is present, and I have almost no control over what the next image will be. Like I'll just be doing something completely random, all of a sudden like grab there, like that image is now being placed there as the new placeholder. And I've kind of noticed that I think, you know, my general feelings about stuff is attached to this point, and it sets and it resets, and it's almost like a chapter system almost. It's a bit of a weird thing to explain, but it feels like over the last few weeks that reset point has been happening more and more frequently. And what it means is that my feelings and my views about stuff is changing at a faster pace as well. And probably this is spurred on by several factors. I mean, obviously like the 100k mark was like a sudden jump in change, but all of a sudden something significant has happened after this release that I don't quite know how to explain yet, but I haven't wanted to make a video. I'm going to record one tomorrow, one about portfolio advice, but something about it I haven't been able to piece together, like that I actually want to do a video, and like I haven't really been able to settle on an idea because things have been changing so much. And the last time this happened was after the easiest way to make add-ons video, where I did this video should not exist. Where it's like, okay, well suddenly your interest and your mood is changing so quickly now, and you're trying all these different things, all these different projects, that you have no idea what to make. Like stability is out the window, so we just do something random instead. Also recently I did have an anxiety spike again a few days ago, but the obvious reason for that would be because I was having more caffeine than usual, and that usually does it. Separate to that, I've also had the vestibular issues. They've been worse today. I was going to record the new video today, then I felt pretty bad in the middle of the day, but I could tell something had changed. I did some exercises right after I woke up, some more aggressive ones, and I think I did change something, because in the middle of the day I started feeling different. Then I laid down, and then I've been feeling much better afterwards. Sorry, this might look very weird. I move my head from side to side because I basically test how far my vision moves when I lock onto a target from side to side. That's how I can tell whether like the crystals are not aligned properly. And before people think I'm a weirdo, I'm talking about labyrinth crystals, like in your inner ear, the things that help you detect balance. Just in case anyone thought I was talking about some kind of weird new age thing. I'm not sure what they are, like calcite crystals. And their alignment basically helps you to decide which direction is down, essentially, like where gravity is facing. But balance is quite a complex thing, and your brain doesn't just listen to the labyrinth to get a sense of balance. It's a combination of factors, especially the visual side of things. So that's why when some of the crystals are misaligned, you'll feel weird and woozy because it's not matching up with what you're seeing. So benign paroxysmal positional vertigo is essentially when that happens. When for some reason the crystals move out of line or some are stuck that are trying to escape. So all of a sudden you're feeling like the room's spinning or things are going weird. I don't really get the room spinning as much anymore. What I do get is just a weird sense that like the balance is off when my head moves, but it always resets. It's a strange thing. Anyway, that delayed me from recording the new video today about portfolio advice. Discussion videos never do too well. I'd like to just make videos without considering performance and stuff, but it's something I do have to think about. Generally, you want to aim for like a 10% rule when it comes to subscribers and like how many of them will watch your videos. So I'd say for like 100,000 subscribers, I'd like 10,000 views over like a week. So with these three, that's fine. With these three, not so much. And I have a feeling that the portfolio video is going to do worse than all of them. But a lot of the times that I've thought stuff like that with like other discussion ones as well, because discussion ones never do too well. Sometimes it pans out all right. But I also like to think in the past it's been a good exercise intentionally doing things that you didn't think were going to do too well, just to kind of punch through that fear of performance anxiety. Because if you just do things that are high trend and people expect all the time, then I feel like it gets harder to break out of that loop or to be creative or to take risks. And I feel like taking risks is ultimately a super important thing to do in the long run. But this is the price you pay for expressing so many varied interests and different ways of making stuff. But when frustration builds up, like there's a tinge of frustration that I get from this conflict of like, well, you want things to do well because you want to be sensible, but you also want things not to do well because you want to stick your middle finger up to the universe and like break through an anxiety block. But that tension of ideas causes a frustration, and usually that's when something changes, like a method changes or a mentality changes. Now my channel has always been just like a continual series of changing directions, and what happens is I think when I change the direction, I take some of the things that was learned and then I put them into the new direction and carry on, and then it just keeps like bouncing around and new things are picked up as you go. So it never stays exactly the same, and I do feel like that's a good thing in the long run. Adaptability is probably the most important thing for longevity, I feel like. And by longevity, I mean decades. A lot of the stuff I've done has been about laying roots and essentially gaining territory in different fields. So with all those products and stuff, but I haven't been making as many products recently, but I do have some lined up that I do want to make. And I have been working on that, but the thing is, when it comes to like products and stuff, hello, I just put myself on the screen more. Typically speaking, I don't spend a lot of time on them. I think the longest I spent on a product was modular metals. That was probably a few weeks. 2 weeks, maybe 2-3 weeks, maybe not even that. I can't remember. I remember the space station generator was 2 weeks. And that's mostly because of like interest just not allowing it to happen. Even the first version of Bigen was done in a few days, I think, and I had no experience with Python for Blender before that. I have anxiety where it's like I focus on the videos. They don't make enough for me to like live off sustainably. I had some very good months this year in terms of like being sustainable, and then as I paid more attention to the videos, that all dropped off. And obviously when like your money goes low, you can't help but feel worried about it. It's like, maybe everything will disappear. There's always that quiet voice in the back of your head. But then I remember, no way, I've got so many things here, so many things I can go back to and add updates to and be fine. So many ideas for new products as well. Realistically, I'd only need to make a few products a year to survive off of it, provided that people are still interested in paying for stuff. So thinking about it rationally from that perspective, there's not that much pressure, but still it makes you think. And at the pace that I can make content, I will be perfectly fine. But it's something you need to kind of like keep constantly reminding yourself. But anyway, what's changing? I've always had in the back of my head this nagging thing that says discussion content is the most valuable thing you can make, even if it's the least responsive content you can put on the channel. I do have a knack for talking about things, and I do have a knack for bringing up ideas that other people haven't necessarily thought about or tried to explain or kind of dive into for their audiences. I feel like it's a skill that should be used more. So I have to look back and think, okay, so thinking about the old videos, the old discussion ones, and the new ones I want to make, what are the lessons that I can take from all my different phases of content creation that have happened since those old ones and incorporate them into this new one? Keeping it still relatively simple to edit, because I don't want to stress myself out like I have done with the last few videos. Still keeping it entertaining. How can we string that together? Because if it doesn't take too long to make, then I can focus on making my new products again. Also, following on from that, the updates I've been doing to other products in between these videos, I still want to find a way to package those into future videos as well. Now, I always had the idea that if there was nothing I could think of making for the channel, then I would just make project update videos, or do them in an entertaining way. but I still haven't kind of thought about the right way to do that yet. Because you can get a good sense of value from a video if I had like, say, 5 different project updates, some free and some paid things as well. But again, this will take some people away from the channel, but I think it would still be alright. Because it always introduces something new that people haven't seen before. It's kind of exciting because they can get their hands on it. But it's like, how do you title videos like that? Because it's very difficult to do something clickbaity for something that people don't know exists. The only way reasonably to do it is to go for something a bit absurdish. Like, wow, I can't stop making things for Blender. And then just like, you know, show 10 different things that you've made. But then there's only so many variations of a title like that you can do. Going for things hyper specific, probably not so good for the platform because people will know what they do and don't like. So it's probably not a great idea. So I should probably put a bank together of like these kind of weird, quick project update log type titles that are a bit entertaining that I can throw together. So when I have nothing prepared in terms of like a regular video, I can just say, hey, look, here's a scattered collection of absolutely every project I've been working on, all the things you can get your hands on, a variety of artistic and technical resources and updates, and see if I can present that in an entertaining way. Because if I can get a format like that going, I will have infinite content. Infinite content without necessarily having to think about things too much. Because my default state is just working on random shit, essentially. Random crap and random projects. A collection of paid and free things. So that's like one of the ideal series scenarios, where it's like just project update logs. Entertaining, presented nicely. That's just like one of many series ideas. For when I'm in these moods where I'm like, okay, well now I want to be working on many different things, which isn't always the case. Sometimes I want to be a bit more ambitious and treat things a bit more like a TV show, where it's like, okay, let's make some nice, perfectly curated videos, kind of scripted out a little bit and highly edited content. But I'll think about it. It's just so many things to think about. It's taking years and years and years watching the content change slowly over time and just like attuning yourself to different techniques of how to present things and talk about things, what things to show on the screen, how to understand what bits people like and they don't like, and there's a real art form behind it. And one of the things that makes it more complex is that it's different for everyone. Every creator has a unique audience that's kind of responsive to them in different ways. But I like the idea of always sharing the full process. I also wonder if there is any utility in the kind of videos that we're doing on this channel, but in a bit more of a high effort way, because these are kind of low effort videos. I turn on the recording, I make something, I trim it down and I publish. But I wonder if there would be any demand for something as chaotic as this, but with a bit more of a production quality going, where it's like, okay, here's project updates, here's a quick discussion topic, here's something entertaining, and then like go back and forth. So people have a chaotic but enjoyable time where they're learning about things that they might not have traditionally clicked on, whether that's like the products or the discussions, or like art tips and techniques and stuff. But on the counter side to that, I don't think it'd be great because when people want to search up specific things, they won't be able to find it. So it feels like if that content wanted to live and exist and be valid and proven that it worked, it would have to exist maybe only on this channel. But I don't know, we'd have to wait and see. Maybe sporadic things, maybe like a series then. So that would be like one series and then we'd mix it in with other videos as well. So we do like collage ones and then more dedicated ones in between. Can you tell that one of the reasons I'm talking about this out loud is just to help me brainstorm, because if I don't, I'll just get distracted and do something else instead. So yeah, maybe kind of interspacing videos with these series points would be okay. Kind of in the way that I do newsletters for the Gumroad mailing list, because they don't happen all the time. I make a list of all the things that I want to give more attention and any extra project updates that I haven't talked about, and then they happen in between other content. So maybe I can time videos with those as well. So those would be like the collage ones. And then we can do the other ones in between. So that gives an opportunity to talk about all the build-up of project updates that happened while all those other videos were going on. Yeah, maybe that would work. Because then by that time, there could be a higher sense of value from all the things that were made. And then it wouldn't have to feel like the titles of the channel were so chaotic, because it wouldn't be like chaotic one after another. It'd be sensible ones in between, then something chaotic, then sensible, then chaotic again. I wouldn't have to put a specific timing on like how many videos in between there should be before we get to a collage one, because that would really depend on the amount of content made on the project updates. Those would serve as good advertisement videos for my own stuff, but I think they should be distinctive from affiliate videos, which I may go back to because that's reduced. Maybe we should make October better than September for that. Okay. All right, I think that was helpful. These are all things I've thought about before, but obviously you forget about some of the ideas you've had in the past because you don't write everything down, and even if you do, don't read your own notes. So coming to conclusions again is sometimes quite helpful at the right point in time. All right, we'll see.